morning, my name is Andrea Villarreal, and today I will show you a better way of rebalancing the Hayward Gibbs Hill Scholarship portfolio. I was presented with this portfolio that consists of 18 different companies. They gave me the quantity of shares, and then I had to calculate the weight in order to rebalance it. So what I did first was I looked up their prices from May the 5th of 2015, and then I calculated their market value and finally their respective weights. So how can we rebalance this portfolio? What I did first was I looked up the prices of each of these companies all the way going back from 5 years ago, from June the 1st of 2010 to May the 1st of 2015. Then I calculated their returns and their monthly returns, and then I analyzed it to have their average annual return with their risk composed of that is their standard deviation. What I did next, I created this variance covariance matrix that it combines all of the possible combinations of these 18 asset portfolio. So all of this in blue represents the variance of this would be of AT&T, which was the first one, and this is because the covariance of an asset with itself, it's its variance. So what I did next was I did this matrix of weights, and these are dependent on what you enter in this column that is of the weight. Okay, so this table is represented in this column is the asset, then the expected return, which is what we calculated before, and then it's the standard deviation. So if you want to rebalance this portfolio, you have to change this column of the weights. So how do we know the expected return and the risk of the portfolio just as it is right now? Well, we can take the weights, and we have to plug them in So in here we can see their expected return of 16.9% and the standard deviation of 3.14%. How are these calculated? Okay, the expected return is just the return, the sum of the expected returns times the weights of each of the assets, and the standard deviation is the square root of the Markowitz variance, and it is and how did we calculate this? It's the matrix multiplier that is between the weights and the variance covariance matrix, and it had to be done in 3 parts because Excel only supports either 7 or 8 assets, so I had to do it in 3 parts and then add it, and the square root is the risk. So these results were then plugged in this table of results. So in here it is, the normal weights is the 16.9% of return with the 3.14% of the risk. So then I thought about, instead of having Krispy Kreme, I wanted to include Disney. So I looked, in here is the column, instead of Krispy Kreme that we have Disney, and we have the same thing. I calculated also the returns, and then I did the same with the variance covariance matrix, and then in here first I did it with the same weights, assuming that you were gonna put the same amount of money in Disney as you did in Krispy Kreme. So with that being said, these were the results. With Disney, with the normal weights, we had a portfolio return of 16.82% and a portfolio risk of 3.13%, and these are both lower than having Krispy Kreme. But then the other one I did was, instead of I added Starbucks to the portfolio and I took away SAP, and these were the results. If I wanted this to have the same return, the 16.9%, I had to add a constraint when I used the solver function in Excel. And this constraint was that I wanted to find the minimum risk, having the constraint that the return had to be either 16.9 or greater than that. So it automatically gives you 16.9 as a return, and we can see that the risk is 2.206. But if I wanted the same risk, I had to put the constraint that I wanted, that I was looking for the maximum return, and with a risk no bigger than 3.141, which is the one in the normal portfolio. So this yielded a 24.97 return, and we can see this outlasts even only Disney that has a 22.67 return and a 2.429 risk with the 16.9 return. This portfolio would outlast this and will also outlast that one. So then I thought, what if they don't want to get rid of Krispy Kreme or SAP? I added Disney and Starbucks to the portfolio, so I had to do it now. The covariance matrix had to be of 20 assets, and the matrix of weight has to be also of 20 assets. So in this case, I did the same process, and the minimum risk of this portfolio is of 2.581%, but it only has a 10.1% return, and the maximum return was 27.88% with a 4.326% risk. And if we look at this, they would be the first point and the last point in the efficient frontier. But if we want it to be the same return as the normal portfolio, it would have a 2.8% risk. And if we want the same risk but a different return, it would have a 20.58 return. And if we look at these 4 different portfolios, the one that has the best return for a given level of risk is the one that has Disney and Starbucks. It would all depend if they want to have the same return or the same risk, or if they want to have something in between. They will look to have a return in between 16.9 and 24.97. And that's basically everything I have for you, and these are all the weights. I also put constraints that you had to invest over 1% in the asset, because I think having less than 1% is just too little, and you could not invest more than 30%. Thank you.